Hi guys, sorry for my absence for these last few days. I've been busy, trying to find new actors and trying to work on this new project that I'm working on pretty damn soon. I will show you this title of the script, but now we're talking about movies. Alright, for anyone, I know most of you saw the title of this video, and I want you to know, all you, calm down. All you, seriously, calm down. This is not me talking shit about Disney. This is not me bashing Disney. This is not me saying anything that's bad about Disney today. Now, yes, Disney today is not in a very, very, very good position. Not really. I know most of you are going to probably say, well, Disney can bounce back from this. Disney can do this or try to do that or whatever. But let's not forget, the 2010s era, Disney was doing great. I mean it. Disney was doing very, very great until now. But now, I want to talk about the Disney villain twists we've gotten so far. I know a lot of you may be saying to yourself, wow, Disney for a while has stopped doing the villain twists. Yeah, since we got movies like Encanto and other films, we haven't gotten any villain twists. We haven't gotten those twists saying, oh my god, you were the villain this whole entire time? Yeah, we haven't gotten that lately. But I will say, this isn't a top 5 or top 10 list. This is me talking about the Disney villain twists, and I think why they make sense. Why they make sense. And why they don't make sense. You can call this a rant, or maybe a little bit of a rant review, or something like that. But all I just wanted to tell you, this is my thoughts. And that's basically it. So either way, with that being done and said, let me continue on with the first villain twist. Toy Story 2, Stinky Pete, the Prospector. Now, of course, if you did see Toy Story 2, please do see it. It's a really good sequel. Stinky Pete, you probably say to yourself, he seems like a nice guy. He seems like he's more a reasonable guy you can trust. He seems like he's more reasonable. He has a reason why he's stuck in a box, because he's more worth in a box. And those of you who have collector's items somewhere around your house, or maybe in your background, yeah, when something is not supposed to leave the box, and something that stayed in the box, it's worth a lot. Really worth a lot. But let me tell you what I think of Stinky Pete. When I hear him trying to tell Woody and try to reason with Woody and say to him, Woody, you think Andy's gonna bring you to his college? Or even bring you to his wedding? Andy's growing up, and you can't stop it. And yeah, he does make a good point. But just when Woody finally comes to his senses and finally realizing, heck, I can bring Jesse, Bullseye, and maybe the Prospector along with me, with Andy and them. But no, big twist is this. The Prospector leaves his box, and the Prospector, well, he was the one that turned the TV on that one night when Woody was trying to escape. So yeah, I think Toy Story 2 needed to give us this type of villain twist in that sort of way. Because we are talking about the late 90s, where they came out with A Bug's Life. And to its credit, A Bug's Life, it sucks. I mean, the only good thing is, the villain, but A Bug's Life sucks. And yes, it was during the time of the movie Ants, that came out at the same time as A Bug's Life, Katzenberg and stuff. But I think Disney realized we need to do something a lot more different than we need to bring back doing Toy Story, but we need to do something a little different besides having another kid who tortures toys. But I think in some way, not Disney, Pixar realizing, we need to do something a little different. We got to do something we haven't done quite before, honestly. So that's why I think this was the first villain twist. Now, if there was another villain twist, I do apologize, but no. This is the one that sticks out like a sore thumb the most, and pretty much, yeah, it works. I'm going to talk about Toy Story 5 in a separate video, just to give you the heads up about that. But either way, let's go into other villain twists. Now, certain villain twists, now it has to count as them being the surprise villain of the film. So, no Syndrome will not be on this video. And also, certain other movies. Moana 1 will not be on this video also because it wasn't really much of a twist. And what else? But either way, let's move on to the next one. And that is, I know I made a video about it. And I know I did make a video about it. But it still sticks out like a sore thumb to me. And I have to express it. Frozen twist villain Hans. Now I know a lot of you, I know I did a video on Frozen, the first one. Will I do the second one? It only depends. But I always wanted just to let you know, I think the twist of Hans being the villain kind of really makes a whole lot of sense, if you were to ask me. Now, of course, Disney finally realizing, we get that whole story about true love and two people meeting that one day, now decided to marry each other the next day, or even made a proposal. Yeah, that's stupid. That's really stupid. I'm sorry to say it. I know it's a fairy tale. I know fairy tales are not meant to be based on reality, but I'm sorry. If you met someone that one day, they tell you certain pieces about themselves, and you don't know a whole lot about themselves that you don't know about, that's not true love. That's really not true love. That's something else. Really something else, and that's something else that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, I know a lot of you may be saying, well, it's Disney. They do a lot of stuff that, that's not actually realistic. But I think this is Disney finally getting its reality check in that sort of way. Disney, I think, needed to teach kids. We may have made this sort of reality, but we now realizing it doesn't really work in real life. So, with that being said, Anna meeting Hans that one day, and honestly, yeah, I still stick with my statement I said in my video, that part where Hans says, "Can I tell you something crazy? Will you marry me? Oh, can I say something crazier? No!" I'm sorry, I always have to make that joke. But honestly, yeah, she says yes. But honestly, I mean, we have two people who pretty much say to her, for real? You actually did that? Yes, the part where she tells Elsa that she wants to marry Hans. And of course, Elsa, being the Ice Queen herself, saying, whoa, 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 slow down. No one's brothers is staying here, and no one's getting married. And honestly, it's not the fact that Elsa's an Ice Queen and part lesbian. It's the fact that she's just saying, you can't marry this guy you just met. You don't know much about him. And also when she meets Kristoff, also makes a good point. Kristoff is like, wait a minute, propose to someone you just met that day? Didn't Didn't your parents ever tell you about strangers? And then like he starts making other points saying, what if you hate the way he eats? Or what if you hate the way he picks his nose and eats his boogers? I mean, all men do it. Not really all men do it. But either way, all I just want to say is yes. And in the end, Hans even says to her, like, you were willing to marry me just like that. You got to be that stupid. And yes, the whole villain twist with Hans, it's like, it does teach kids one thing. Don't trust strangers! Don't trust strangers! Yeah. But now that I got that in my system, yes, Hans ends up being the villain, and Hans ends up getting punched by Anna. But yes, I was kind of hoping that Hans would make a physical appearance in Frozen 2. But either way, let's move on to another villain twist. And yes, I'm going to be a little bit more blunt with this one. The villain twist in Big Hero 6. I know a lot of people may like Big Hero 6, maybe because of Baymax. Heck, I see someone cosplaying like that at a convention. I'm giving them a big giant hug. Like a big giant ass hug. Don't even care if I ruin the costume or not. But yes, as much as Baymax is a very lovable character in an original style for a robot, there's one thing I gotta comment on what the villain twist is basically happened. So basically, the villain twist is Callahan faked his death and is trying to get back at, is trying to destroy Kray's, Kray's building or whatever. And yes, I will go into more other details. I gotta ask this. No, I can't say this is much of a twist. I cannot say this is much of a twist. So all I'm saying is, so wait. How did you even start the fire? How did the fire even get started in the first place? And I know you use Hero's microbots to shield yourself from the explosion and cause Tadashi to die. But, sir, you had this teleportation machine all this time. So, can I just ask one thing? Why not just rebuild the machine? Rebuild the machine. Get some flying device to go in there and get your daughter out. You didn't even think your daughter would still be alive in cryo sleep, but still, you had this other door that goes in and out, and you could have just gone in there and got her out, and you somehow faked your death. Like, you had the thing in there the whole entire time. She was in there the whole entire time. You could have took enough time to repair the thing, rebuild the machine, and gone in there and got her out. You didn't even think that? Like, really? That just sounds stupid of you. But either way, what else? Oh yeah, I think in some terms, if Kray was the villain, it would make too much sense. But still, no, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And now let me go into another Disney villain twist. I will say I have a lot of pros on, and that is the villain twist of Bellwether being the villain. And I know a lot of you are going to probably say, Alex, I say it's bad. Unfortunately, to all the Zootopia haters, I'm sorry. I'm really, really, really freaking sorry to tell you this. I love the twist in this film. Now, yes, you're probably saying, why, Alex? Why you love the twist? Well, here's why. This is a mystery crime film. This is one of those films where you say to yourself, who done it, or who is like the same thing with Scream. Same thing with Scream. In all the Scream movies, it's more like who done it, who done it, and that's the whole point. The twist is Mayor Bellwether is the one who done it. And why it works? Because she's a sheep. Or lamb or whatever. But you get what I mean. So, it's like, you guys know if it was a wolf who was the bad guy, it'd be too obvious. But if it's a sheep that's known to be meek and not a threat, that makes sense. Like Mayor Bellwether being the one who's really causing these animals, these predators to go savage, it makes sense. It totally makes sense. It's not just saying, oh, it's going to be pointless. But yes, it makes sense. You wouldn't expect, a sheep to be the villain. Sheep are usually, the side characters, the ones you don't care the most. And yes, if it was Nick being surprised a villain, like, oh, a fox. You would expect this from a fox. And that's the whole point of why it's a big twist. It's more like a whodunit thing. That's what it is. And now since I'm on the subject of Zootopia, yes, I'm excited for Zootopia 2. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to watch it. But either way, what else can I really say? But all I can say is the villain twist in this one makes absolutely a lot more sense. And now let's move on to the one that does make a whole lot of sense. So I promise all of you I'm going to go into 2 more ones. This one will be my second to last one. But either way, remember me. Yes, the song, yes, I know the song is a good song, but now the person who is the villain in this one, Ernesto de la Cruz. Now, of course, our main character, Miguel, worships this character, loves his music, and wants to prove his family that he can make good music like him. Now, of course, when you watch this film, you're probably saying to yourself, hey, Ernesto de la Cruz is Miguel's great-great-great-grandfather. So, of course, you could say, yeah, they kind of building up this whole thing about, is he his grandfather or could he be his grandfather? But in comes the one scene when he remembers, I remember this. I told you I wanted to go home. Then you gave me a drink. We drunk that one night, as a goodbye. Later when we were leaving, I felt sharp pain in my stomach. And I died. You unalived me! So either way, then later finding out that Ernesto de la Cruz is the villain. But here's the big twist. He finds out that Miguel finds out the person that's been helping him this whole entire time is his real grandfather. Sorry, is his real great-great-grandfather. So when you think about it, I think in some terms, I guess a lot of people who are famous or who are trying to be famous do mention this one certain thing. This one big certain thing. If you want to know what that big certain thing, you want me to get to the point, don't meet your heroes. Do not meet your heroes. Even in death, still don't meet your heroes. Because why? You don't know what they're like. You don't know what they were like in their lives. You don't know what they're like when you meet them. Like, so many people have met their heroes and they wind up saying, that's why they say, never meet your heroes. That's exactly why they say, never meet your heroes. Because you don't know what they're like. They may seem charming on camera or on their songs. But real nature, they could be monsters. They could be really awful people in real life. They may seem nice on camera, but they're actually awful. really awful in real life. And yeah, he finds out that, oh, my great-grandfather was the one who may remember me. He made it for my great-great-grandma. And you know what? Yeah, now you see why people say don't meet your heroes. Because you don't know what they're like and you don't know what they're capable of. But now let me go into the last Disney villain, well, Pixar Disney villain twist. And that is one big one that I am going to mention. And yeah, I'm going to make another video about it pretty soon. Incredibles 2. The villain twist in Incredibles 2. Evelyn Deverts is the villain is the screenslaver. And yes, I know, screenslaver, catchy name, but using a guy who's a delivery boy as a screenslaver, as a decoy, and then finding out she's the actual real screenslaver. I guess somehow, since it has been, what, like 14 years, around 14 years or something years since we got the last Incredibles movie. And yes, Evelyn Devert's motivation does not make sense. Now, here's what makes sense in the first Incredibles movie. Buddy, or Incrediboy, but now turned into Syndrome. Why he worked as a villain? Well, one thing, Mr. Incredible shunned him. He's like, fly home, buddy. I work alone. And yes, that ruined him during the time. How he wanted to help Mr. Incredible, and how Mr. Incredible was like, piss off! I don't want your help. And yes, that's what made him Syndrome. And yes, the whole thing with Evelyn Devler, or whatever, okay, Evelyn, let's just call her Evelyn. Evelyn being the surprise villain, her reason is pretty much, actually no, it doesn't make no damn sense. Your reason why you hate supers is because your parents depended on them a lot, but when they illegal, you want to blame your parents' death on superheroes when, lady, superheroes is not the reason why your parents were killed. They got boycott for a reason because people were acting ignorant. Why? Because they're like, oh, you saved me. I didn't ask you to do that for me. Why'd you save me? I didn't ask you to do that for me. That's who you should be pissed at. The first person who sued Mr. Incredible, where the guy's, lawyer saying, Mr. Singh didn't want to be saved. Mr. Singh didn't ask to be saved. And what he did to my client, look how he is. Like, yeah, Mr. Incredible saves a guy from committing suicide, and you're not blaming him? Like, people were boycotting superheroes, or supers, let's just call them that, and yet supers had to go under. Supers had to stop doing superhero work. How is that superheroes' fault? No, how is that their fault? They didn't disband because, they got disbanded because people were being ignorant. And the fact that you're saying, we have to always depend on you guys, and I think it's really stupid. So if you think the whole thing is so stupid, why are you even helping? Oh yeah, because you want to make sure they stay under forever. Then you're just, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If you're going to go out of your way to take down superheroes, well, you could just say, this is not going to help. Or you could, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like with Syndrome, his reason why he wanted to be a superhero, he got rejected from being a superhero, and now he has to go for these other ways of, taking out supers for him to be a superhero, and him to make a machine that can destroy superheroes. And I'm like, that made sense in Incredibles 1. Incredibles 2? Okay, I'm going to do a separate video of Incredibles 2, to explain more other things that don't make sense in Incredibles 2. But either way, Evelyn Devler's reason of why she's the villain and her purpose of being a villain makes absolutely no damn sense. And that's basically it. But either way, I think since after Encanto came along, and I'm gonna also say Frozen 2, they stopped it with the villain deaths. Oh, sorry, they stopped it with the villain twists during that times. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, they haven't done it in a while. And if they were to bring it back, it'd be like, oh god, they're trying to M. Night Shyamalan us all the time. And pretty much, that's basically it. That's all. So I'm sorry I couldn't get more twists in the mix. I just wanted to mention the main ones that stick in my mind as of right now. So if there's some I forgot, or I can still do a part 2 video on it. So if you want, leave a comment down below of what I missed. If there's something I did miss, please leave a comment. If there's something I didn't miss, also leave a comment. If I mentioned what I mentioned, hope you enjoyed this video. And either way, so special features for Star Raider are coming pretty soon. So don't worry, there's not going to be like 20-something videos I'm going to make for that. There's going to be 2 videos. The making and the commentary. The commentary, I'm going to go back to doing the old style of me doing the commentary. Me recording my voice and doing the commentary on that. But either way, that's it for today. So, at that being done and said, Vertical Spy, outro. And one last comment I want to mention. The person you see in the end of this video is the real Steve Blum. Voice of Spike, Tom, and many other voice acting characters he's done. So, definitely listen to him when he says, Steve?
Yo, Steve Blum here, voice of Spike Spiegel. Remember to subscribe and get vertical.